Welcome everybody to this week's edition of Valparaiso University Football, and our preview show for this week as we look ahead to Trinity International. We look back to this past game at Sacred Heart, and Dave, I guess obviously there were some similarities to the Sacred Heart game to what we saw against Illinois State, where early on moved the football. In fact, the first quarter, again, a couple good drives. One resulted in a touchdown, and as the game went on, maybe the bigger, stronger team kind of wore down the smaller team, and unfortunately that ended up being your team. But obviously there are signs. We saw in the first quarter against Illinois State, we saw in the first quarter of Sacred Heart, there's some signs you guys are moving in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, playing some younger players on the offensive line, but really there were a lot of signs on the offensive side of the ball, a lot of success in the pass game, some guys stepping up, making throws and making some big-time catches. So there were certainly signs on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, a little bit more disappointing as opposed to what a great job they did against Illinois State, an Illinois State team that, by the way, beat Northwestern this past week. So, but we were a little bit, I was disappointed on defense that from a assignment perspective, we did not play great assignment football. We missed some reads, we missed some assignments and turned some guys loose, and that was a little bit disappointing. Physically, we hung in there. I think our team our level of toughness is getting better with each passing week, and that was good to see. And then in the special teams, it was kind of a mixed bag for special teams as well. We had a couple of big punts out of Alex Ng. Bailey Gessinger had a really nice kickoff return. He continues to impress week in and week out. But we also gave up a couple of big returns and really wasn't as strong in our coverage game for special teams as we were a week ago.
One thing that's got to happen is you got to make big plays. You did get a long touchdown pass to Gene Renee, and you've got those big play guys, and it'll help to get Frank Katrine back here soon, obviously. But Gene Renee, 2 catches. Obviously, there were 2 big plays, but it'd be great to get him the ball more.
Yes.
Jarrett Morgan, figure out a way to get him the ball in space, right? We saw the one swing pass where he got out in space, and he can make things happen. I guess it's easier said than done. But there are guys who can make plays for this team.
Sure, yeah, no question. And as we gel together offensively, hopefully more of those will be coming as the level of just size, speed, and athleticism in the defenses that we're seeing decreases a little bit as we kind of get away from these 2 scholarship opponents and more into the meat and potatoes of our league schedule. I think there are going to be a lot of opportunities with the style of offense that we run. We do have some skilled players who can make a difference out in space, and hopefully we're able to do a better job of that.
And I was going to say, you mentioned 2 scholarship type programs you've gone against, but you look at those 2 defenses, obviously are really, really good. Illinois State held Northwestern to 7 points. Sacred Heart has given up almost nothing here in their 2 games from a running standpoint. You're going to be able to run the ball, and it's going to help. Now you're going to get away from those 2 teams. It's I guess we'll know a lot more about where the running attack is in the next couple of weeks.
And looking as we kind of turn our eyes towards Trinity International, it is a NAIA program, a good program. They gave St. Francis, which I think is currently number 4 in NAIA. They gave them a run for their money to start the season off, and then they had a big win. Like 52-14, I think, against Wisconsin Lutheran, and they have an off week this past week, so they've been focusing on us for the last 2 weeks. They are a very talented program, but certainly not quite the size and the speed that we've seen in the last couple of weeks. So this will be a great measuring stick for us to play an opponent that is more kind of in line with our size, our speed, our athleticism, and it's going to be really important for things like that to go out there and to be able to establish the line of scrimmage, have some success in the run game, get back to doing what we do best.
How would you compare Trinity to some of the teams in the PFL?
Yeah, I think absolutely they're right in there. From an athletic standpoint, without question. I mean, they've got a lot of experience. I believe 10 starters back on defense from a year ago. They run a great triple option shotgun type scheme that really makes you play assignment football, and they've got athletes on the offensive side as well. I think they are not up there with the top teams in our league, but certainly in there, with the rest of the PFL right now. I mean, without question.
Dave, I've got to assume you look at all the young guys who are playing on defense right now. A lot of some freshmen, a lot of sophomores
Right.
in there now, and guys who look like they're going to be your two or three of your top players. That your defense is going to get better as the year goes on. Guys who saw a reserve role last year, like Nick Turner, like Drew Snuffer. We saw really good play. I thought Murphy Osmond, had a
Sure.
solid ball game
Oh, yeah.
for you. Another youngster. As the year goes on, the defense is going to get better, right? Especially that front seven where you've got so many young guys.
Absolutely. We will continue to gel. We run a very complex scheme, and when you put a lot of young players in a complex scheme, you had what kind of happened a little bit on Saturday with a lot of assignment busts. But guys are going to continue to get comfortable in the scheme. They're going to continue to get bigger and stronger as the season wears on, more comfortable. They're going to play at a faster speed. And I think hopefully we're going to have our best year yet on defense when it's all said and done.
About the morale of the team after obviously 2 lopsided games, but the kids know the quality
Oh, sure.
of competition, where they are. How about your overall thoughts on where you feel about the morale of the team right
Yeah,
now?
I think we're doing great. I think nobody expected these first 2 games to be a cakewalk. So we knew what we were getting into, especially having played Sacred Heart a year ago, and so we knew they were challenging games. The morale's high. Obviously, we've got a couple of injuries that we wish that we didn't have, and that's that's just part of the game. That's football, and so we're dealing with that right now. But I think we've got a lot of guys who are excited and really fired up to get to our home opener.
And it'll be nice to be at home, obviously.
Yeah.
Good luck this week.
Great, thanks.
For head coach Dave Cicchini, this is Todd Eichhout. Thanks for joining us this week on Valpo Football Preview.